Everyone, welcome back to the series of understanding Middle Eastern culture and Middle Eastern man more specifically. Today, I will address the traits of a Middle Eastern man. Obviously, whether traits are positive or negative, we cannot generalize. This is a diverse culture and we cannot give specific traits that will apply on everyone, but these are the most common traits that you can see and find in Middle Eastern men. And from understanding these traits, you'll be able to effectively interact with them and also understand their thought processes and the way they operate. While you might have already some ideas that Arab men are tough, they are not easy to deal with, but the reality is a lot of them have the desire for stability, which makes them adaptable in relationships. So if you're interested in this topic, keep on watching. Let's dive into the video. The first point is commitment. In a Middle Eastern man, you'll usually spot that they have commitment not just when it comes to relationships, but also to their education, to their work. They have strong work ethic, and also they are generally family-centric. You kind of see always the people who are coming from hardship, they are more committed to things. They are also more observant. And you would see difference in the level of commitment between generations. Especially if the man was born in a culture where everything was given to him easily, his level of commitment is not the same as a man who was born in a country where he had to struggle a little bit, or he at least so struggled. So this factor influences greatly the level of commitment you would see in an Arab man. The second trait is protective jealousy. Jealousy is seen as an indicator of love among Arabs. If a man has zero levels of jealousy, the woman might think that he doesn't care about her. And of course there are levels of jealousy. You know, there is the normal level of jealousy that shows affection, that shows that the other person cares. And there is also the excessive jealousy. And this might become a psychological issue that needs professional help. But you know, generally the Arab man's dignity and honor are closely tied to his wife. And a point to add here also, the level of jealousy you would see from a man who was born in the West is different than the level of jealousy from a man who was born in the Middle East. So have this in mind so that you don't consider the level of jealousy you would see in the Arab man who was born in the Arab world as an excessive jealousy. Moving from this point to the next. The third trait is dominance. Arab men are dominant. They control the situation. They control the ship. And they do that from a place of love because they know that they are the ones who need to provide for the family. They are also the ones who need to protect the family. And so they might exhibit sometimes harshness. This is part of their nature. They are more tough. They are not tender. And you can see clearly this difference when you go to countries where there are a lot of immigrants. You would see the huge contrast between Arabs and Africans, for example, how they behave and how Europeans behave. It's not that they are less civilized, but they are harsh and they don't tolerate bad behavior from no one. You'd see, for instance, in Gaza, in Palestine, a kid with no arms, he would stand in front of a soldier and defend his mom or defend his sister with no arms. And the soldier, they might be beating him, they might be killing him, but he has no fear and faith. And so they are harsh because of the nature of life and the nature of circumstances they have lived or their parents have lived, and it's reflected on the way they brought up these kids. So Arab men are naturally harsh, but they are not misogynist. Their harshness doesn't come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of love. So it's a question of what you're used to and how adaptable you are to different behaviors. So if you understand this, I think you can get along more with them because you would not see their harshness as misogyny or as a bad trait. The fourth trait is generosity and hospitality. Middle Eastern men and Arab men in general are known for their unmatched hospitality. I remember I once needed to go to Algeria and I knew a friend in France from Algeria. They didn't let me book a hotel because they told me they had their family there. Once I reach there, people will take care of me totally, fully. So once I arrived at the airport, everything was prepared. They came, they received me at the airport, they showed me the town, and I also got a place where to sleep. Everything luxurious, you know, not just a random thing, not just sleeping on the couch. I was treated like a prince. This is how Arab men are. They are really generous. And if you haven't seen that yet in Arab men, then probably you are not with a good company because this is always seen in Arab men. This is always seen in Arab communities. I would invite you to have lunch with me, even if I know that I don't have much at lunch, but I will tell you come. If I suddenly know that you're in town and I haven't prepared anything at home for a guest, I would still invite you. We spread the bread. And if you are a wife and you don't know this, You'd be so angry at him. Why you're inviting him? Why you're inviting your friends? I'm not a maid. I'm not gonna cook. I'm not gonna do that. But this is part of who Arab men are. They are generous. And when they know that someone is coming in advance, they would prepare something great for him. But if you come by surprise, they would invite you to share what they have. So I think that this point is clear, and I assume that you already have an idea about how generous Arab men are. But I still had to bring this topic up in case your man invites his friend when they come from another country to visit, or whatever the case might be. So moving from this to the next. The fifth trait is self-reliance. You'd see that a lot of Arabs, especially when they live out of their country, they have entrepreneurial spirits. They want to have their own businesses, they seek always opportunities, and they are generally so driven. And the reason they are is also related to the country they come from or the conditions they have lived. And so how you as a woman can get benefit of this? You need to understand that sometimes when they don't ask for your help is because they have this and they kind of take charge of what their decisions are and what the repercussions of their decisions will be. And so sometimes you'd see that they don't ask you for help. You know, they can't ask you to bring them a cup of water, but they will not ask you to help them in their work, to help them in what they do. You know, they are self-reliant. And it's not perceived bad from the man's view. It's perceived as part of being a man, part of being masculine. You're in charge, you can do things, and you do things. And this is not to say that they might not consult you. They might consult you and they might speak with you about their issues. But sometimes you'd see that overall they are independent. And if you have seen something else in your life, you might see that as something odd, you know, that the man is not sharing everything with you, or is not sharing his task, or he doesn't ask you for help, or, you know. So this is a positive trait overall. The man is driven, he is self-reliant, he's always pursuing things, but in the back of his mind, the purpose of all that is just to serve his family, to provide for his family, to increase the level of comfort for his family, and many other positive reasons. The next trait is cultural pride. Arab men take great pride in their cultural heritage and traditions. And something that is good when understanding this trait is also the language. It is good when you express yourself sometimes in Arabic when you are with an Arab man. It gives them a sense of pride, you know, when you speak with them in their own language. So the attachment goes beyond the cuisine, but also to the language, to the customs. The good thing when you are with an Arab woman is that you can make fun by saying things no one would understand, you know. The jokes that you tell, usually, even if you understand what do they mean, you will not understand them. We take certain things from films, from series, and we use them, we joke about them, you know. So it would be good for you to understand few Arabic jokes, few Arabic words, and so they're so pride. It's not arrogance, they're not arrogant. How can you be arrogant if in the West you're seen as something bad? As an outsider, as someone, there are a lot of stereotypes about Arabs, but they are still proud of their cultural heritage. So if you understand this, it will be great. You will also understand that it could be also a sensitive topic, so try to not disrespect the traditions, not disrespect the ideas that goes around about Arabs and their traditions. And know that they appreciate a lot their culture, their traditions, their language, their cuisine, and many other things. The last trait I have in this list is chivalry, and respect for women. Respect for women might come across to you as dual characteristic in a Middle Eastern man, because you might think that in public she's so respected, while also in the society, the men are the dominant figures. And this is the understanding that you need to have. We understand that a woman should be taken care of, that she is under the protection of a man. We look at a woman as she is protected by another man. Even if we see her alone in the street, we know that she is under the protection and under the responsibility of another man. That's how we look at women, you know? And so we have a huge respect for them. We got to protect them in public places. She might also get advantages in places just because she is a woman. But generally, traditional Middle Eastern men will usually display chivalrous behavior towards women, which includes acts of courtesy and respect. It could be seen in opening the door for a woman, offering assistance when needed, facilitating things for women that might not be facilitated if it was a man. So we treat them differently because we respect them a lot, and we consider that as an act of politeness, not flattery. So these are the traits I wanted to share with you today, and it's important to note that not every Middle Eastern man fit these generalizations. So have this in mind, and I hope by understanding these traits you'll be able now to interact with a Middle Eastern man more effectively, because now you should understand him better or at least I hope that you now understand him better. That's it for me today. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, I will see you in the next one.